Hey guys, I just wanted to check in and talk to you guys about a couple of things. So, you guys are about to turn in your mediated values essay on Wednesday, the rough draft. So, you guys, on the brainstorming, I loved all of your ideas. I actually basically gave the same piece of advice to almost everyone. So, you have three things, right? You have the medium, you have the value, and you have the connection. So a lot of you did a great. You guys had movies, you had magazines and books, and you also had a value. So now I want you to narrow that down. Pick one of the three, and what when you're picking them, I really want you to think about how specific you can make that last bit, the connection. Um, so, when you're writing, like if you're writing about a movie, think about which scene it was really the most effective for you. Was there something that made you like have this revelation, this aha moment? That's what I want. I want that aha moment described. Um, for a couple of you, you choose magazines. You chose magazines, which is great, and like the things that they taught you. So one of the ways you could make this specific is talking about like, so I think it was Lillian was talking about how you changed, like because of the motor week, you were able to change your windshield wipers and you knew how to do all this stuff. So maybe you could frame this essay when you're talking about doing the windshield wipers. And because of these magazines that your dad likes, you're able to do this on your own. So this is really what I want. I want that personal connection. I want it to be as specific as possible. This is how I had this aha moment. It came from this specific part. And just try to make it as specific as possible, and that is really what I'm going for in this entire course, is to make everything as specific as possible, and that in my opinion makes really great writing. So great, I'm really looking forward to this. You're going to post this on Wednesday, Wednesday at midnight. So you have anybody who post a full draft will get 10 points, the full amount. If it's not a full draft, then you won't get the full 10 points, but everyone should get the full draft. What I'm really going to be looking at for this first draft is the peer feedback, which we've been just talked about in the discussion forum that was due yesterday. So there's a couple of things about the discussion forum I wanted to talk about. So in the first week, you were supposed to read the discussion forum expectations. That's under the introduction folder in Blackboard, and goes over, first of all, 40% of your grade. So don't blow this part off. Also, no late work. The point of this is to be a discussion. So if you come in 3 days after everybody's done talking about it, you're not really contributing to this discussion. Also, I have to keep on top of the grading, so I'm going to grade pretty quickly. There have been a few people who've been late, which is fine. People are adding, and it's, we're getting to know how to do the online course. That's fine. I'm going to let those slide, but now we're going to have to start doing all this stuff on time. So generally, there's a discussion forum every 2 days. There's one on, like today, on Monday, we did the discussion forum. By Wednesday, you need to respond to two other students. Also on Wednesday, you're going to have another discussion forum, which in this case is your first draft of the mediated value essay. And then by Friday, you'll respond to that as well as do Friday's discussion forum. So we keep going. So remember, like the due dates are about every 2 days, so just keep up with it that way. Also, in the discussion forum expectations, it talks about a good discussion forum. So they should be at least 150 words, and the average post will be 200 to 300 words. So there were a couple, especially with last night's, that were not that. So please keep in mind that if your grade is affected because of this, it's because they are not meeting the expectations of the forum. Also, one of the reasons we're doing this is so you can prove to me that you did the work. So for last night, you were supposed to watch the Phil Hart Davidson's video. I think that was the name, about describe, evaluate, suggest. So some of you were kind of vague on this. I wasn't positive that you watched the video. So one of the things that you're trying to do in the discussion forum is prove to me that you actually did the reading. Brennan did a great job. His discussion forum was the correct length. It was adequate. It was detailed. And he even pulled out a quote from the video and talked about that quote. That was a great job. Brennan got a really high grade for the discussion forums. So I want you guys to think about this, like when you're writing. So you can do what you want, but it's going to be reflected in your grade. So go back over if you hadn't had a chance to look at that discussion forum expectations, which again is in the introduction folder under the coursework and units. Go do that, please. So going back to the describe, evaluate, suggest, we are going to use that to respond to rough drafts. So on Friday, as I said, if you turn in a full draft of the mediated value essay, you are getting 10 points. I'm not going to really comment that much on the rough drafts. I want you to comment on each other's. What I'm grading, what I'm really looking at, will be the feedback. Feedback is very important in a writing class. We need to get good at giving feedback. So anytime we have a rough draft, I'm going to be looking more at the feedback than I am at the rough draft. If there are glaring issues, I will try to address it before the full draft hits or the final draft hits, but mainly I'm going to be looking at your feedback. So I do want you to think about the describe, evaluate, suggest. Many of you said how the description was very important in your discussion forums. I completely agree. When I write something, I often think that I'm being clear, and I'm often not. So it's really good to have somebody say, this is what you said, because then I think, oh, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say this. And that helps me exactly know what I need to clarify. Clarity is really important in writing, especially in like a composition class. So we want to really focus on that. So when you do the describe, evaluate, suggest, the hardest thing is moving evaluation to the evaluate step. The hardest thing is actually describing what you see. So you describe what the essay is, and then, so for this one, you're just going to describe what the medium is, what the value is, and what the personal connection is. And then in the evaluate step, that's when you're going to say, okay, according to the prompt, you are missing this part. Or according to the prompt, you have done this, you've done this, and you've done this. And then in the suggest part, you could say, well, I think it would be better if you move maybe the connection to the front. So you want to do stuff about structure, maybe adding details. We don't want to really comment on grammar because there is the division, there's revision, and there's editing. They're two different steps. Revision is the content and the form and the structure, and that's really what you're focusing on. Editing is the grammar. This is window dressing. It's like the format, MLA. We want to do all that at the end, and it makes it look pretty, but really what's important is the content and the order in which it's presented. So we are not going to really focus on grammar. We're going to focus more on content and order and organization, linking words, transitions, that kind of thing. So I'm really looking forward to reading your mediated values essays. As always, let me know if you have any questions. I know there are a couple of hiccups getting started on the course, so let me know if there's anything I can help you with. After reading the mediated values brainstorming, I'm really excited about this essay. I think it's going to be really fun and interesting. So let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing your essays on Wednesday. Thank you.